I wasn't the first woman to sit in that seat. I just don't know if the others ever got out. My mother had a stroke on a Tuesday. My brother called at 6 a.m. and said it was bad, said I should come. She was already in the ICU in Raleigh, and I was in Portland with maxed cards and no savings, 8 months out of a divorce with nothing to show for it. A last-minute flight was $1,400 I didn't have. So I rented a car, one way, cheapest thing on the lot. A silver Nissan Sentra with a crack in the dashboard, a sticky cup holder, and a pine tree air freshener that hadn't smelled like anything in months. I hadn't spoken to my mother in almost 2 years. She took his side in the divorce, or that's what I told myself, because the truth was uglier. I just wanted to get there before she died, thinking I didn't care. First day and a half were fine. Oregon through Idaho, long empty stretches with nothing but AM radio fading in and out. I ate a drive-through burrito in Boise and spilled half on my shirt. Slept 4 hours at a rest stop in Wyoming, wedged between 2 semis. Woke up with a numb arm and didn't know what state I was in. Day 2 was Nebraska into Kansas into Oklahoma. I called my brother from a rest area near Wichita. Mom was stable, not awake. He said, "Just get here." I said I was trying. Somewhere in Oklahoma, the towns had blurred together by then. I reached for my water bottle. It was wedged beside the passenger seat. I knocked it sideways and it rolled under the seat. Next red light. Some town I couldn't name, just a light and a gas station and a church. I leaned over and reached under the passenger seat. My hand closed on something flat and cold, not the bottle. A phone. Black case, cracked screen, one of those rubber cases that gets sticky. The screen lit when I touched it. No passcode. It opened to the camera roll. The first photo was a woman asleep in the driver's seat. I didn't process it right away. I thought someone took a photo of their friend on a road trip. Then I noticed the headrest. Same gray fabric. Same little tear near the shoulder strap. Same car. I scrolled. Another woman. Different face, same seat, same angle. Shot from the passenger side, close. Like someone sitting right there. Another. And another. I pulled into a Dollar General parking lot and sat with the engine running. 46 photos. All women. All asleep in the driver's seat. The readable timestamps went back almost 2 years. I told myself a creep rigged a motion sensor camera, and the phone was the receiver. Disgusting, but human. I could file it. But one photo stuck. A woman with a tattoo on her wrist, a small crescent moon with a line through it. I reverse image searched the face. First result was a dead Facebook page. Second was nothing. Third was a news article from Amarillo, 8 months old. Missing woman, 34. Last seen at a gas station off I-40. Her rental car turned up at a return lot. Keys in the drop box, wiped clean. She never came home. I searched another. A younger woman, blonde. Found a Facebook post from a family in Denver. Their daughter rented a car 11 months ago to drive to Dallas. Never arrived. The car showed up. She didn't. I was sitting in the same car, same steering wheel, same sticky cup holder. I should have left. But my mother was dying, and I had 900 miles left and $38 in my account and no plan B. So I put the phone in the glove box and got back on the highway. 20 minutes, maybe 25, radio up loud, checking the rear view every 10 seconds. Empty. Then a sound from the glove box. Short, mechanical, a camera shutter. I told myself it was a notification. Phones do things. Batteries come back for a second and fire off whatever was queued. 30 seconds. Click. I opened the glove box with one hand. The phone was lit. 47 photos now. The new one was the back of my head. My hair, my neck, the shirt with the burrito stain, the highway through the windshield. Taken from the back seat while I was driving. I twisted around. Empty, every inch of it. I threw the phone into the back seat, hard, turned forward and drove. Oklahoma gets dark the way only flat places do. No hills, no city glow, just headlights and white dashes and nothing else. From behind me, click, click, click. Every 30 seconds or so. I didn't look. I just drove and listened to it, taking pictures of me from a seat I knew was empty. Then something moved in my peripheral vision. The passenger seatbelt. It pulled across the empty seat. Slow, smooth, the kind of motion that has weight behind it. Clicked into the buckle. The tension drew tight like someone settling back. I started crying. Couldn't stop. I pressed the gas because the only thing that felt true was that I should not slow down. No logic to it. My body just knew. The car smelled different, metallic, like old pennies and something electrical. And then I noticed I was drifting, easing toward an exit ramp. Not fast, a gentle pull, like bad alignment, except I was holding the wheel straight. And my foot was easing off the gas, not because I decided to. I just noticed it happening, the way you notice you've been holding your breath. It wasn't like being pushed. It was like wanting something I didn't want. The impulse to take the exit was coming from inside me, but it wasn't mine. And the wanting felt natural. I bit my tongue until my mouth filled with blood. The pain hit, hot, sharp, real. Hands locked on the wheel. I pulled left, tires screamed. Held it straight at 80 with blood running down my chin. 40 minutes, maybe more. I missed 2 exits because I couldn't read the signs. Then, lights. A truck stop. A Walmart. Golden arches against the dark. I pulled in too fast. Keys out, door open. Walked into the Walmart bleeding from my mouth. A woman in produce asked if she should call someone. I stood in the cereal aisle under fluorescent lights for a long time. The lights buzzed and someone was playing Top 40, and a kid was screaming about Pop-Tarts 3 aisles over. And all of it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard. I called my brother, told him to book me a flight from Oklahoma City. He heard something in my voice and didn't ask why. I left the car in the parking lot, keys on the tire, door still open. I made it to Raleigh the next morning. My mother was alive, awake. She held my hand, and I didn't think about the car for 2 weeks. I reported the phone to the rental company. They said they'd investigate. Never heard back. I told myself I hallucinated. 18 hours on 4 hours of sleep. Grief, adrenaline. The phone was planted by a creep, and the rest was my mind coming apart. I almost believed it. I was starting to sleep again. Things were starting to feel survivable. 3 weeks later, my mother's guest room. Old curtains that don't quite close. A ceiling fan that clicks every 4 or 5 rotations. Half asleep. The house was quiet. The fridge, a branch on the window, the fan clicking. Nothing wrong. Then, close, very close, right next to me. Click. My eyes opened. Dark room, closed door, Fan clicking. Nothing had moved. But I knew that sound. Every nerve in my body knew it before my brain caught up. The room was empty. The door was locked. And it didn't matter.
Everyone grieved. His mother didn't. She grabbed my arm and said, "Find him." Marcus and I shared a dorm room for 3 years at Iowa State. Closest thing to a brother I've ever had. We drifted after graduation. No fight, just life. He went back to Cedar Falls. I went to Chicago. 2 years of silence while I kept telling myself I'd call next week. Then a call at 3 in the morning. Marcus was dead. Car wreck on Route 20 outside Cedar Falls. Closed casket. Funeral Saturday. I booked a flight to Waterloo and rented a car at the airport. 20 minutes south through flat fields and sky. Marcus always talked about leaving Cedar Falls. He never did. The motel was on Route 218. Wood-paneled walls, carpet that smelled like the 80s. I dropped my bag and drove into town. The woman at the diner poured my coffee and said, "You're Marcus's friend, the one from Chicago." I hadn't introduced myself. "He talked about you all the time," she said. At the gas station, the clerk knew my name before I said it. At the motel, the receptionist had my card already filled out. Full name, home address. Marcus hadn't spoken to me in 2 years. I told myself, small towns are like that. The funeral was that evening. Small church, maybe 40 people. The casket was closed and polished, and nobody touched it. They stood near it, but kept distance. The eulogies were smooth, too smooth. Every speaker said the same things in slightly different words. Nobody mentioned the accident. No road name, no time, no weather. Just the accident. Like a placeholder. I noticed it, and then I told myself I was being paranoid. People are weird at funerals. Grief does strange things to language. That's what I told myself. The reception was in the church basement. Bad coffee, egg salad, people shaking my hand. Patricia found me standing alone, Marcus's mother. Same sharp eyes I remembered, but everyone around her was red-eyed and exhausted. She wasn't. Her jaw was set. Her eyes were dry. She gripped my wrist, hard, leaned in and said, "Find him." Her other hand pressed something into my jacket pocket, a USB drive. The pastor appeared. "Patricia, can I get you some water?" Her face changed, tears, trembling lip, the grief everyone expected. She let him guide her away. I tried to reach her 3 more times. Each time, someone stepped in, like she was being managed. She never looked at me again. Back at the motel, the USB drive sat in my hand for a long time. One file, 4 seconds of video. Marcus, alive. Concrete walls behind him, dim light, eyes wide. He looked into the camera and said, "Don't let them bury it. That's not me." Cut. The metadata said Friday. His death certificate said Tuesday. This was filmed 3 days after he supposedly died. I watched it until I could close my eyes and still see his face. The scar on his eyebrow from sophomore year. The way his jaw tightens when he's scared. That was him. I didn't sleep. Next morning, I drove to the accident site. The bridge on Route 20. I walked the whole stretch. No skid marks. No damage to the guardrail. No flowers. Nothing. I went to the police station. Young officer behind the desk. I asked for the report. He pulled it up, paused, looked at me. "You're Marcus's friend, right?" I said yes. He closed the file. "Weather's supposed to turn. You should probably head home." His hand moved to the radio on his desk. Casual, thumb resting on the button. I left. Looked back from the parking lot. He was standing at the window, watching me. I drove to Patricia's house. Her car was in the driveway. The front door was open. I called her name through the house. Nothing. The place was clean, too clean. Her purse on the kitchen table. Shoes by the door. She was gone. I sat in my car in her driveway for a long time. The woman who had gripped my wrist, the only person at that funeral who didn't seem to be performing, was gone. Everything she owned was still in the house, but she wasn't. I almost called the police. Then I remembered the officer's hand on the radio. I went back to the diner. Needed to sit somewhere with people. The owner poured my coffee without asking and said, "Cedar Falls is a good place to settle. You should stay." Same rhythm as the officer. Same cadence. Like a sentence they'd both learned from the same source. I left the coffee on the counter. That night, motel room, lights off. 3 soft knocks on the door. I didn't answer. Silence. The handle turned slowly, all the way down. The door opened 6 inches and caught on the chain. Through the gap, darkness. A hand came through, set something on the carpet, pulled back. The door closed. I didn't move for a long time. When I crawled to the door, I already knew. Marcus's watch. Brown leather, scratched face, the one he wore every day. The leather was warm. On the back, scratched into the metal, "Stay." I left at 4 in the morning, didn't pack everything, just got in the car and drove, Route 218 south. Every building dark, fog sitting on the road. I thought I was alone. Then, the first house past the motel. A figure standing in the window, lit from behind. Not doing anything, just standing there, facing the road. Next house, another figure, same posture. I pressed the gas. Not every house had one. That was worse. Some windows were dark. Some had a shape behind the curtain that might have been a person or might have been a coat rack. I couldn't tell. But the ones that were clear, 5, 6, maybe more, were all standing at the glass. Still. Patient. I passed Patricia's house, lights on, and she was in the window. I didn't want to look. I looked. She was standing the way the others were standing, still, facing the road. I couldn't make out her expression through the glass and the fog, but something about the shape of her mouth. I looked away. Route 20, the bridge. My headlights swept the road and someone was standing in the center of the lane. I hit the brakes. The car stopped 30 feet short. Marcus, his face, his build, same flannel from the video, standing in the road like he'd been waiting there all night, like he'd been waiting there for months. But his eyes were wrong. I could see them in the headlights, flat, like they'd been emptied out and polished. He looked at me, tilted his head, and smiled. It was not Marcus's smile. Marcus smiled with his whole face, his eyes squeezed shut, his nose wrinkled. This was just the mouth, just the shape. Like a mouth that had learned the motion, but didn't know what it was for. He said something, Marcus's voice, but smoother, calmer, emptied of everything that made it his. You should stay. I pulled the wheel left and drove around him, and I did not look in the mirror. I did not look back. I drove until Cedar Falls was aglow in the rear view, and then not even that, and then just highway and dark, and my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I returned the rental at Waterloo, got on the first flight I could find. The gate was normal. The boarding line was normal. I found my seat, window near the back, and sat down and watched people file past. Families, businessmen, a woman with a toddler on her hip. Normal people doing normal things. Overhead bins clicked shut. The safety video played. The engines spooled up and the ground fell away, and I watched Cedar Falls shrink to nothing below me. Gone. All of it. Behind me. I let my head fall back against the seat, closed my eyes. The cabin noise was steady, the hum of the engines, a baby fussing 3 rows up, the drink cart rattling somewhere behind me. Safe sounds, human sounds. I felt my shoulders drop for the first time in days. Then the sounds changed. Not all at once. The baby went quiet first, then the voices, then the cart stopped rattling. The engine hum was still there, but everything else, every cough, every whisper, every rustle of fabric just drained away, like someone had pressed a hand over the world's mouth. I opened my eyes. Every person on the plane was standing in the aisle, between the seats. Wherever they'd been, they were on their feet now, turned toward me, completely still. The businessman, the mother, the toddler in her arms, head tilted, eyes open, all of them facing me with the same expression. Smiling. Not smiling like people smile, smiling the way Marcus smiled on that bridge, just the mouth, just the shape. Nobody moved. Nobody blinked. The cabin lights hummed, the engines droned, and every single face was locked on mine. Then the flight attendant stepped through them. Calm, unhurried, like she was coming to offer me a drink. She stopped at my row, leaned down, close enough that I could smell the cabin air on her uniform. She smiled. You should stay.